Good morning. So, uh, like I said, I was going to be doing another video because I've been actually wanting to do this for a while. Firstly, you might be thinking, orange juice, lie, whatever you want to call me. Why are you filming in the bathroom of the hotel? I really like the lighting in here. That's why. um, so that's it. So I'm gonna be talking. Warning! In this video, I'm going to be talking about psilocybin, which is magic mushrooms, which is drug use. Da da da. You've been warned. Whatever. um, what I'm gonna be talking about is I'm gonna be talking about how psilocybin has helped me as a person. Because psilocybin is and can be used to help with like PTSD, depression, anxiety, things like that. So I'm gonna talk about that. When I do psilocybin once, sometimes twice a month, if I just can. Sometimes I go a few months without it, but I'm usually doing it once or twice a month, and not very big doses. Usually, like 2 to 3 grams, which may not sound like a lot, but it can be depending on the strain. And yes, I am gonna a lot because that's just how I talk. So okay, I don't even know how to begin this. So with psilocybin, I actually started to get better. When I first took it years ago, it was not for the purpose of using it to get better because I wasn't aware at the time that you could do that with it. To me, it was just a drug. Sorry, my hair is getting blonde because it's getting hot out. So I'm noticing the streaks like on camera. The first time I did it, it wasn't for that purpose because I didn't know you could use it for that purpose. Because I grew up in a very conservative household and I wasn't really taught about that kind of thing, and that kind of thing isn't taught to people. Like, you're just taught, oh, drugs are bad, and that's it, and you're not supposed to question it. So when I first did it, it was really intense. It was not a bad trip, it was just a lot. And it comes off as kind of a bad trip. I filmed it. I don't have the original video anymore, but when I did, it comes off as kind of I'm having a bad trip, but I wasn't. I actually haven't had a bad trip. Like well, I wouldn't say a bad trip, but there was one time I took some and I got frustrated and angry, but that doesn't mean a bad trip. That just means that the psilocybin is like trying to get you to recognize whatever is making you angry and frustrated. And the best thing to do in those situations is to just not fight it and to sit there and think about it, question it. Why am I angry? Why am I frustrated? Why am I sad? Why am I so upset? Why am I so hurt? You have to sit there and ask these why questions. And then when you figure out the why, then you can figure out the how. Well, how can I make it better? What do I need to do to change it? Things like that. But yeah, I did it once, and then I kinda sorta like got into it like years after that, but not like, again, not for the same purpose as healing as just like doing it. And I wound up having a suicidal ideation, and I was in the mental hospital for a while. They put me on like 3 or 4 different kinds of medication, an antipsychotic, an antidepressant, and 2 anti-anxieties. I was supposed to take my anti-anxiety, antidepressant, and antipsychotic at the same time, which you actually are not supposed to do. but my doctors told me to do it. And then my other anxiety medication was as needed. The problem is it was working for me for the first month, and then after that, I started having like either you can call it serotonin storm or like serotonin shock or serotonin sickness. But I started getting these electric shocks in my lower back and down my legs that were really uncomfortable, like really bad. To the point where like I was frustrated, I couldn't sit still, it'd make me jerk and tense up, my legs have to be straight all the time, I couldn't sleep because of it, and I'd already been suffering with bad insomnia. So I just stopped taking the medication. And instead, that is when I kind of turned around and I was like, let me actually try using psilocybin for what I could use it for. As instead of just as a way to get, not like, I don't want to say I was using it as a way to get high, but I was using it less for the high aspect and more for what the high provided. The bright colors, the shapes, the thoughts, the things like that. Like, but anyway, but then I started, like I said, I started using it as more of trying to heal me for whatever was going on. And I've made a lot of progress. My mental health has actually been phenomenal actually since then, since I started. Like actually using it as kind of a medication. Some people microdose every day, and microdosing is just really small, and it's not like a strong psilocybin strain, and it's good for just helping people be happy. It gets people through the day without any like bad side effects like fainting, dizziness. Like there might be like mild nausea, but nothing that's unmanageable, you know. And I actually have one of my bottles right here with me because I plan on doing it today, since I'm just chilling at a hotel and I'm not going anywhere. At least, I mean, I'm going somewhere at 2, so I'm going to take them after that. Because, of course, when you're taking doses like I do, you shouldn't be driving. It is okay to go outside and walk around, and there's a park near this hotel, so maybe I'll do that. I don't know. The strains I've tried, right now I have Golden Teachers. I've done Enigmas and Blue Vuittons, and I don't know the first strain I ever did. I've had Wavy Caps, which are good. Wavy Caps are probably, eating wise, they're my favorite because they don't taste bad and they don't smell bad. They kind of smell like cooking flour, and they have like this kind of mild, like almost, it's really really mild, but there's this like kind of chocolatey hint to it. So they're probably one of my favorites, but it's like, and probably right now my least favorites I've had are the Enigmas, not because they don't do their job or whatever, but because, or they taste bad, or they smell bad. They do kind of taste bad, but I've had worse. But the Enigmas, when I first took them, were not my favorite because the difference in the high was crazy, or like the symptoms. Most psilocybin causes nausea, sometimes dizziness, depending on like who you are, how bad your eyesight, do you get migraines, like things like that. Like my girlfriend can take psilocybin, but it often makes her really dizzy, and the light reflecting around and the colors warping can like make her kind of woozy. So she often, usually if she takes any with me, or if I'm just sitting her, we usually like try to like do something really calm and have like lights off or dim. But again, it just depends on the strain. Every strain is different. So like Golden Teachers are really soft. They're kind of like what you think psilocybin like how it acts. Like in your mind, if you've never done it, you're like, well, whatever you're imagining psilocybin symptoms to be, that's probably what golden teachers will give you. But enigmas, when I first took it, I had never had psilocybin that made my stomach so hot. Not nauseous, but like it felt like someone took like a glass bottle of hot water and stuck it in my gut, and it was heavy. It was a really weird sensation, and I didn't vibe with it the first time I took it, which resulted in me being kind of fussy and angry. But the second time I took it, I went into it knowing I went into it knowing what was gonna happen, how it was gonna feel, and I was like, okay, I'm ready this time. So, and what I decided to do instead is I took it and I had a bath. I was in the bath for like an hour and a half. Lights off, just chilling. I had like a candle lit, and what I do a lot when I take psilocybin is I will record my voice just talking. I will just kind of talk through it, whatever comes to my mind, and kind of bounce back and forth between ideas or philosophies. I'm a very philosophical person. So I like questioning things. I like learning things. I like wondering about things. I like hypotheticals. It's just fun to me. But it was a much better the second time because of I was in the bath, and I think the weightlessness of the water helped. And then the third time I took them, I didn't do a bath. I was just by myself, and it still wound up being a good time. It's all about kind of adjustment and like figuring out, okay, I know what to expect when I take this. So now I'm mentally prepared, so now it doesn't bother me. But yeah, what I want to do is like take different strains, and like I guess write like I guess my own research paper. I know that sounds stupid, but psilocybin to me shouldn't be criminalized in the same way that marijuana shouldn't, or hemp or weed, whatever. I don't like it's called marijuana, but I know that is kind of a I don't know how to say this other than it's kind of racist. The word marijuana used for weed or hemp is kind of racist. But until I can come up with a better word for it, I'm stuck using it. So I don't believe marijuana should be criminalized. I don't think psilocybin should be criminalized either, because psilocybin and marijuana are both naturally occurring plants. It is, and so is opium and the meth plant and things like that. If you want to learn more about that, then you should check out Meta Bechet on YouTube, because he does like that kind of thing, and he's really good about it. He's really educational and fun. He's a hoot. I love him. He's very educational if you ever want to learn about kratom and kava and things like that, or the cocoa plant. So, but I think naturally occurring plants like that shouldn't be illegal. They shouldn't be criminalized. What should be illegal and criminalized is when man, like humans, I'm using man as like humans, when man takes these plants and like chemicalizes it, like does something to it to like make it stronger, make it more potent, make it more dangerous. That's what I think is wrong. But you can't really do that with psilocybin. With psilocybin, you can't add anything to it. I mean, you could add another plant or chemical to it to fuck you up more, but you don't need to. You literally just need the plant, and that's it. Or the fungus, excuse me. The mycelia. But psilocybin will show you parts of yourself that you do not want to think about or talk about or whatever. It'll put things into perspective if you let it. I went through a lot of hurt. Maybe not like as much as other people, but enough that it was really really got to me really bad. And there was one time I took psilocybin and went onto my balcony and I just cried. I cried and I wrote, and like the problem with writing is when you're on psilocybin and you're writing and you get caught in what I'm gonna call the whirlwind of feelings and bad memories that you don't want to be in. What happens is in your writing, at least in my experience with my writing gets stuck in a loop. I will write about this thing and then this thing, but then this thing will come back to this thing, and then it'll come back and this thing, and I get caught in a loop and a loop and a loop. But doing it kind of helps. Like, you kind of, when you see that loop happening, you realize it puts it into perspective. Like, you're kind of stuck. You're stuck in it. Whatever this thing that's been bothering you, whatever it is, like it clearly bothers you because you keep crazy is doing the same thing over and over and expecting a different result. So like whatever is bothering you, whatever is causing you this pain is literally driving you, in a sense, crazy, because you are constantly writing about it, thinking about it, and expecting some kind of different result, and that's not going to happen because it's already done and past. It's over. The only thing you can do is, how can I get out of this loop? How can I stop it? What do I need to recognize to stop it? So like it's helped me recognize a lot of things about myself and put myself in different perspectives. What can I do? And especially recently, I used it to help with. I used it recently to help with a sexual dysfunction I have, because I hated having it. I didn't want it, but I never actually stopped to sit down and think, why do I have it in the first place? And I took mushrooms, and it. Of course, I'm also pagan and things like that, and spiritual. So I talk to Loki and whoever listens and whoever will listen. And if my mom is watching this, hi mom. I don't think you would be, but in case you are, the person I was talking to was Lucifer, but not in a bad way. He was very kind and he really showed me like guidance. So I don't want anyone to if you want me to talk more about that, I can, but not in this video. But it was his guidance and the mushrooms that kind of helped me stop and think, why do I like this thing that I shouldn't like? Because it's gross. Why should I like it? Why do I like it? And then I figured out why I liked it, why I do it, or why I did do this in the past, and how it connects to this, and I figured it out. And it's like having your own therapy session. You're the therapist and the patient at the same time. And it's one of my favorite things, honestly, is this back and forth. Because, like I said, I'm doing so much better than how I was in the past. I feel happier, I feel calmer, I am infinitely less angry. Now, that is also attributed to my testosterone. My testosterone makes me less angry, which is crazy because you would think it'd make me more angry. But I'm more angry when I don't have it and when my estrogen is high. When my estrogen is really high, I get really angry, unreasonably so, to the point where I feel like I can't, people can't be around me. So yeah. But I feel less angry, I feel more happy, I'm not as depressed. I haven't had any suicidal thoughts since the last time. Do I get my little melancholy moments? Yeah. Am I still antisocial? Yeah, but that's because I get social burnout. I spend a lot of my time at work smiling, batting my eyes at customers, trying to get them to buy things, and it gets exhausting. And I can't keep up that that customer service shit. I can't keep up with it always. I have to have days where I don't need to do that. But yeah, psilocybin. I'm a big advocate for it. I think it is really helpful, and I'm not the only one. It's helped other people as well out there. Like I said, it's people with PTSD have been taking like microdoses to help them, and it's helped them. People with depression, things like that. I think I can't remember what it's called. There's like a docu-series on Netflix. What's it called? Change Your Mind. It's called Change Your Mind, but each episode is about a different drug, and one of the episodes is about psilocybin. So that's also something good to check out if you're interested in that. Is more like from other people's perspective instead of just mine, because there is a lot that is demonized in the world that shouldn't be. And I think the demonization of not just these, but like other things, other types of cultures, other foods, other traditions, the demonization of these things is not healthy for humans. It is not healthy to hate something just because you don't understand it or it doesn't fit in your beliefs. So, yeah. Okay, I think I'm done. I think that's it. But if you want another video where I talk about psilocybin, or if you want a video where I'm on it and I kind of talk about it as best I can, because I'm not really great about that. But yeah. Okay, so that's it. Questions, comments, concerns, you can put them down in the comment section. I love answering questions. I usually respond to everybody. I'm always checking comments and things like that. And I usually try to turn off like the comments filtering system. That way, like, I can see everybody's, even if it's spam, even if it's hate. I like being able to see everything. So thank you so much for watching. I will be back with another video. I'm still working on my plushies. I'm still naming them. Instead of making name tags, I decided to make them like little bracelets with their name on them, or necklaces with their names on them, which in hindsight takes longer and there's a lot of beads. So I might not like do that. Maybe I'll just show off all my plushies and kind of just vaguely talk about them. So I don't know. I haven't figured it out yet. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. And summer's coming. Finals are coming up. And anyone in this school, you got it. I believe in you. You can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. So don't give up. Push hard. It'll be worth it in the end.